Chapter 5 Apple Picking Time. The hay cart bounced along the dirt path toward their orchard. This sure is a bumpy ride, said Robbie. I would be a lot more comfortable if I had a pillow to sit on, said Chloe. This hay is prickly. You think you're so fancy, said Max. Well, guess what? You're not the queen, so just be quiet. Chloe stuck her tongue out at Max, but he just laughed at her. Sugar is such a beautiful horse, said Jessie. She looks just like the white horses in fairy tales. I wish I could ride a horse, I said. It looks like so much fun. It is, said Robbie. You got to ride on a horse, I asked. Yeah, one time we were on a vacation in California, and my mom took us to a place where you can rent horses for the day and go on a trail ride. It was awesome. You're so lucky. I don't think my mom would ever let me ride a horse. You know, she's such a neat freak. She doesn't like anything dirty or stinky, and horses are both of those things. If you look that way, said Farmer Bob, pointing, you can see the apple trees right up ahead. Good, said Chloe, because I can't sit on this hay one more minute. Farmer Bob pulled on the reins, bringing Sugar to a stop, and we all jumped out of the hay cart. Well, everyone except Chloe, because who had to be lifted down from Farmer Bob. Max started to walk toward the trees. Farmer Bob grabbed him by the back in his pants and stopped him in his tracks. Hang on there, buddy. Where do you think you're going? To find the wooden apples, said Max. Well, if you're going to pick apples in my orchard, then you have to follow my rules. And rule number 1 is you don't wander off by yourself. Remember, we talked about that this morning, said Mrs. Bushy. We said that you have to stay with a group. Remember, Max? Yeah, Max mumbled. If you can't follow the rules, then you won't be able to go, said Mrs. Bushy. Do you think you can follow Farmer Bob's rules? Yes, said Max. There's Farmer Bob grabbing Max. Don't you go anywhere. Excuse me. First of all, said Farmer Bob, I have to give each of you a bucket. A bucket? What's that for? Asked Jessie. To collect your apples in, said Farmer Bob. I need each of you to collect 10 apples in your bucket. Do you think you can do that? Yes, we all said. If you each collect 10 apples, then we can use some of them to make fresh cider and you can take the rest home. Follow me over here to this tree so I can show you how to pick the apples. We already know how to pick apples, said Max. I want to show you the Apple Hill Orchard way, said Farmer Bob. Come on over to this tree right here. We all followed him to the tree. You see this apple? He asked. We all nodded. You don't just want to take it in your hand and yank it off the branch. You might break the branch or hurt the tree, said Robbie. That's right, said Farmer Bob. You want to hold it gently in your hand and twist it off like this. He gently twisted the apple and it fell off into his hand. See how easy that is? What about the contest? Said Max. Max, said Mrs. Wishy, please let Farmer Bob finish. Oh, yes, the contest, said Farmer Bob. Here's how it works. When you're out in the orchard, keep your eyes open wide because I have hidden a wooden apple in one of the trees. If you find that apple, then you win a prize. $5 whole, said Max, and I'm going to win it. What makes you so sure? Said Jessie. Watch me, said Max. I think that $5 will be all mine, said Jessie. No way, said Max. There's no way a girl is going to beat me. We'll see, Jessie said, smiling. Max scowled at her, but Jessie just kept smiling. She was the only one brave enough to stand up to Max. Well, I think it's time to get started, said Farmer Bob, so let me give each of you a bucket. He passed out a bucket to each kid and said, remember to make sure you can see someone else at all times. Max put his bucket on his head. Help! Help! I can't see anyone, he said. His voice echoed inside the bucket. Max, said Mrs. Bushy. If you're going to fool around and not be a good listener, then you're just going to have to wait with me." Max quickly took the bucket off of his head. He didn't want to miss his chance to find the wooden apple. "All right, if everyone is ready," said Farmer Bob, "on your mark, get set, go." We all went running into the trees. "Oh, look at this big, juicy apple," said Jessie. "I don't think I've ever seen such a big apple before." "That one really is huge," said Robbie. "I definitely want to take this one home to show my mom and my abuela, my grandma," said Jessie. "They are not going to believe it." Jessie gently twisted the apple off the branch, just like Farmer Bob had done. "You did that perfectly," said Farmer Bob, "just like a real apple farmer." Jessie smiled. "I want that one way up there," Chloe whined, "but I can't reach it." "Would you like me to lift you up?" asked Farmer Bob. "Yes, please," said Chloe, "but be careful. This is a new dress, and my mom doesn't want me to get it dirty." Farmer Bob shook his head and lifted Chloe so she could pick the apple way up high in the tree. "Oh, no," said Chloe. "What's wrong?" said Farmer Bob. "I thought this was the wooden apple, but it isn't, and now I've broken one of my fingernails. I had them painted candy apple red just for this trip." Farmer Bob laughed. "You certainly are a city girl, aren't you?" "I don't think the wooden apple is right here," I said. "I'm going to walk down there a little bit. Want to come, Robbie?" "Sure," Robbie said. We walked past a few trees, and then I whispered, "I think I see it. Come on."